So today we're going to be talking about why our government seems to be turning a blind eye to the chaos caused by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum crew. Are our officials simply oblivious, or are they complicit in a brazen attempt at a world takeover? So check it out. The Great Reset. It seems that everybody knows about it now. It has been talked about on every alternative news outlet and debated openly and endlessly on social media. There have even been a few world leaders that have called out the World Economic Forum destruction, like Australian Senator Malcolm Roberts. Take a listen here.
Klaus Schwab's life by subscription, quote, is really serfdom. It's slavery. Billionaire globalist corporations will own everything. Homes, factories, farms, cars, furniture. And everyday citizens will rent what they need, if their social credit score allows. The plan of the Great Reset is that you will die with nothing. To pull off this evil plan, Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum will need to take more than just material possessions from Australians. Senators in this very chamber today who support the Great Reset threaten our privacy, freedom, and dignity. Yes, they're in this Senate chamber. One nation vehemently opposes the Great Reset, the Digital Identity Bill, theft of agricultural land use, forcing farmers off their land, and all of the Great Reset. One nation has a comprehensive plan to bring our beautiful country back to sustainable prosperity. And in the months ahead, we will be rolling that plan out. Instead of LibLab pushing Klaus Schwab's Great Reset with the tagline, "You will own nothing and be happy," One Nation advocates the Great Resist. We stand for a world where individuals and communities have primacy over predatory globalist billionaires and their quizzling bureaucrats, politicians, and mouthpiece media. One Nation accepts the challenge to provide a better future for everyday Australians.
And if we look over here, it seems that this is even keeping Putin up at night as well. There's an article, "A New World Order is Coming. Putin blasts globalist ideology as totalitarian." Russian President Vladimir Putin asserted earlier today that the globalist world order is totalitarian and is holding back creative input. So even though he's no angel, he also understands what's at stake and what is coming. There have been multiple pandemics, food distribution centers burned down, food shortages, livestock deaths, trains full of fertilizer wrecked, riots in cities burned, and even overwhelming numbers of immigrants coming across the borders of multiple nations that are causing huge amounts of chaos. And any reasonable human being would be able to make the connections between this foreshadowing, or what most would call threats from the rich elite, to the actual events taking place. And yet our politicians act as if they can't piece this together and that it's all just a big mystery to them. There are teenagers on YouTube and TikTok who can put together the timelines and other connections that draw enough conclusion that Klaus Schwab and his crew are at the center of everything that is going on now. I mean, there was even a Georgia Guidestones monument that vaguely laid out the scenario that's taking place now. And now they're letting everybody know that they are actually speeding up this Great Reset. Take a listen.
This afternoon, the Secretary General and Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda.
Okay, so they're accelerating the 2030 agenda. If they have no part in these unfolding events that we're seeing right now, then what exactly are they wanting to speed up? So why has there been no one, and I mean no one from either political side, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, have come forward and said that this 2030 agenda is a threat to our freedom and democracy? Now, I know that Ron DeSantis in Florida is fighting a lot of this stuff. But I've never heard him say clearly that this is a threat to our freedom and democracy. I mean, there's not even been one politician that has said, maybe we should be taking a look at this stuff because, people might starve to death at some point. Now, rich elite players like Klaus Schwab sit in interviews smirking and openly brag about infiltrating our governments. Take a listen.
When I mention our names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the president, with a young global leader, but.
So he's openly bragging and saying, we have penetrated these governments. And notice the wordage he uses. He says penetrated. These are terms that you would use in a military action. And you would think as a politician that you would demand to know who they actually penetrated your government with, and you would want to know if they're working against the interest of your country. This stuff used to be a big deal, no matter what side of the aisle you were on. Klaus Schwab also tells us about how this great reset will come as a tsunami. Check it out.
In short, we need a great reset. The fourth industrial revolution will impact our lives completely. It will not only change how we communicate, how we produce, how we consume. It will change actually us, our own identity, and of course gives life to such policies and developments like smart traffic, smart government, smart cities. What we will see is that everything will be integrated into an ecosystem driven by big data and driven particularly by close cooperation also of governments with business, civil society. And this revolution will come at a breathtaking speed. It will be like a tsunami. And action.
So he didn't say that this reset would come naturally as time progressed if people voted for it. He didn't say that it would come soft and easy. He said it would come as a tsunami. And tsunamis are disasters that kill people. Also, these guys talk in vague riddles and never mention specifics. I guess they do this so there can be some sort of deniability later on. But everybody knows what he is talking about here and in the other clips that we've seen from him, and how they draw direct parallels with the ongoing chaos. And you know, there's nothing wrong with change if this change is decided upon by the people and not by a select few who stomp their feet and demand a total overnight shift in civilization. Okay, so let's talk about this scenario. Imagine you get up one day, you drive into your job, and you call for a meeting with all the managers and the boss. You go into the room where they're all sitting, you get in front of them and you smirk and you tell them that you're going to reset their company because it needs to be built back better. And you tell them that when this happens, it'll feel like a tsunami. Now fast forward to the next day and somebody has trashed the break room and slashed everybody's tires. Who do you think the police are going to talk to? This would be more than enough for the police to start an investigation on you. So why isn't this happening now with Klaus Schwab? Why aren't our top law officials sitting down and trying to draw some connections between the vague threats made by the World Economic Forum and to what is actually occurring in the world today? Politicians here in the U.S. have chased Julian Assange all over the world for over 10 years. They've filed charges against him and done anything and everything they can do to get him back into the United States where there could be a trial. And what was his crime? He made citizens aware of illegal shenanigans carried out by the government. They said he was a threat. Our politicians have also spent untold amounts of money in the pursuit of trying to tie Donald Trump to something illegal over the last couple of years. And it doesn't matter if you like Donald Trump or whether you hate him. The point is that our politicians are capable of forming investigative hearings when they deem someone a threat. We saw this too with the January 6th trials. So why do they not seem to have the same vigor when it comes to protecting our country from this World Economic Forum threat? Maybe this is the reason here.
Ask, how do we build back better?
To build back better and build back better than before.
As we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Build back better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
Build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better.
My plan to build back better.
Build back in a positive way.
Build back better.
It's about building this country back better.
Build back better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
Build back better.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
It's a big effort.
That is the reason, because the majority of our politicians have been captured, just as Klaus Schwab had told us, and our elected officials have just become vessels for World Economic Forum talking points. Also, doesn't it feel like this reset has hit us all out of the blue and you don't have time to catch your breath in between disasters and pandemics? Well, it's supposed to. That is the plan. It's for them to hit you so hard and so fast that you won't be prepared to resist. When predators attack, they do it as fast as possible to catch the victim off guard. And that's what a blitzkrieg is. If you look over here, a blitzkrieg is a word used to describe a surprise attack using rapid, overwhelming force concentration. Doesn't that seem like what we're going through right now? And this is also something that Klaus Schwab has said in the past. It is, in the new world, it's not the big fish which eats the small fish, it's the fast fish which eats the slow fish. So this is what they're doing. They're hitting you as fast as possible so you don't have time to even know what is going on. So when will our politicians and police officials actually start to take action? Will it be after the next disaster that Klaus Schwab predicts, like world cyber attacks and power grid failure? Take a listen.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole.
I mean, he's telling you here exactly what's going to happen. Just like he has before, just like Bill Gates has before. I'm not sure why they even tell us in the first place. Maybe they enjoy the chaos and the fear and the upheaval that they cause. And maybe part of the fun is to tell people beforehand. But maybe, and this is what I like to think, maybe there is something else at work here that compels these men to tell us their plans so we all know about it and we can prepare. I guess the question comes down to whether you're concerned about this reset. Are you concerned for the future of your kids or your own future? We have all heard about what is in store for us in the future, like eating bugs, owning nothing, constant lockdowns, food shortages, cyber attacks, economic depression, pornography at our schools, and a one world religion. And the list just keeps going on and on. They know that this constant division sowed in America by our politicians is exactly what allows them to accomplish their goals. We need to start talking to each other and putting small differences aside and start coming up with solutions. We also need to start making attempts to talk to our elected officials. If you have an elected officials that are pressing back against this global reset, then make sure you reach out to them, call them, and let them know that you support what they're doing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me rant. And if you got anything out of this at all, or if it made you take a moment to think about this stuff, give me a like and please subscribe. It really helps the channel. Okay, until next time, take care.